father succumbed to drink. We returned to the U.S. a couple of years later, only to leave again almost immediately for Santiago, Chile. This post lasted longer, but my mother finally put her foot down against that whole career track. Fed up, my father later said, with the fuss of being a diplomat's wife. All the hostess duties, twinkling in high heels and Maryland lipstick between swells of laughter and fragrance. It just wasn't her, my father would say, with a slightly bemused shrug, arching his heavy brow. But I see now how she couldn't stop turning her gaze back over her shoulder for the United States, all the time we lived abroad. What was it she pined for so inconsolably? The crisp promise of real fall? A handful of chatty, eloquent friends in New England and New York, whose drawling, smoky voices and dauntless, sly grins I remember rising over glasses in which the ice clacked like dominoes? A certain strain of decent gaiety? Impregnable optimism? The English language, to which her letters and speech bore such a lyrical, shape-shifting relationship, marbled with cadences from her Bostonian mother, her Carolinian father, Edwardian children's literature, and peak Golden Age Hollywood? Her gentle parents in their white columned house on Main Street in Cooperstown, where she'd grown up sailing turnabouts on the Glimmerglass, skiing woodland trails named after characters from the Leatherstocking Tales, going to elegant dances in technicolor dresses at the country club that I picture from her albums like a lush Douglas Sirk set. The whole storybook upbringing, true blue bows, ice cream socials, bonfire sing-alongs, and self-sacrificing, self-realizing charity. One endless 4th of July firework bouquet of earned freedom, which she spoke about matter-of-factly as a slice of paradise lost. All that heaven didn't quite allow? Did she miss America when she longed to return, or her early history in the village, a past that was anachronistic even as it was happening? Or was she just fleeing the foreignness of other parts? Those subtleties of everyday being in faraway places that continually divert the heart's search for an echo. Unfamiliar materials, wayward plants in the garden, the manner in which things open and lock, anomalous ingredients of ordinary recipes, what morning means, when night begins, the way the walls of your new residence never quite seem to enclose you. And have I now left America because the country became alien to me, or because I believe that somewhere out there in the great beyond I might still find a place that sings home? By the time I was 6, my father had taken a desk job with the Department of the Interior, and we'd moved to a suburb of Washington, D.C. My first memory of living in that development is of getting lost over and over, staring helplessly down the ranks of homogeneous dwellings lining blank streets. It wasn't that our house was very distant from the school or off on some tricky cul-de-sac, but I remember the facades multiplying as I walked, becoming ever more indistinguishable, as if I were caught in a bad dream. Sometimes I recalled the street markets in Santiago, enormous, light-spangled fish, and bunches of bright, scented blossoms like the frills on the dresses of women who'd come down from the Andes to trade, something festively disordered, unpredictable. I felt a sadness that I couldn't put words to. As soon as I was old enough to leave home, I started traveling whenever I had means. By the time I was in my early 20s, I'd begun spending longer and longer interludes in Europe, followed by almost 10 years living in Jerusalem. And now this. Once more across the Atlantic, to the country my mother's family fled almost exactly 400 years ago. November 1620, November 2016. The dates of the Pilgrims' arrival and of the election that launched our departure have a strange symmetry. After all the other moves, some ebb tide of circumstance and homesickness drew me back again. This passage out feels different. It was born of a homesickness that has never relented. But we'll see. The world falls apart. What do we do? What should we do with our physical beings, with our minds?